So now we have done a lot of, about not everything, but a lot of things in the mutual fund area. We are now going to go into client and portfolios. So I will show you the left side to it, but it can help me. It helps sometimes just to figure out where I'm at. So we are here in the client and portfolio, and we have groups, clients, and portfolio. So just to show you a bit an example, I can see a new group, and let's say the group name is the Smith family. Okay, the group type is a individual. The status, it is a prospect, let's say, and activity, it is active. I will not suggest to put too much emphasis in filling out those fields. It is more, it can be used as a CRM product, but right now we just use it for portfolio and illustration. So don't put too much time into that. So we have the Smith family for the example. Close it. So now we have the group. In the group, there is absolutely nothing, but it is just an idea. Now into the clients, we have just Frank, but we can have a new client. Let's say it's Mr. You will believe it. It is Mr. John Smith. It's the best of all, Mr. John Smith. And when you have many customers that, and you don't want to reveal too much of their identity on that because the servers are not secure or properly secure. So you can put real names, but you don't want to put their social number, especially not their social security number or their date of birth. You can, but you want to differentiate between two customers that have the same first and last name. You can just, of course, put the initial or the middle name in the middle. You can go and see all those things, but it's not really, you have nothing to gain. So now you have your client, and you don't want to put out that information. Okay, now we have a customer, but we know, and we can have another client. It can be Mrs. Johnson. Sorry, it can be Maggie, and her name is Johnson, but she's the spouse. Okay, she's a female, and she's the spouse of John Smith. But they are two different customers, but they can be with the same group. So we can go here and we see client group mapping. Again, the right click of the mouse, but because we are not in mutual fund, we are in this, it is a different menu. Click that. See John Smith. Now the group assignment, we don't, you just have to click because we don't see the group assignment. The new group assignment will be here. If you don't see F, and not F but S, and I want to assign it to the Smith family, and we want John Smith to be the primary. We save, done, and then we have Maggie Johnson. We can see client and group mapping. You can see here she's in the Smith family. The designation, she can be the secondary or the child. Save. And now we have a group, and we have clients, but we don't have portfolio. So if I click on Maggie or John, we don't have any portfolios. And if I go in group, I will not see the customer but I will not see their portfolio because I don't have any portfolios. If I go into portfolios right now, I have some of them here. I can say that those portfolios, I can rename them. Say like example, because they are just that, example 1. It can be, let's say, example 2, and it can be example 3. So those were old things. They were to that customer, but I made a mistake, or I want just to show you how easy it is. You go here, and I can go to portfolio mapping. The mapping is to the attribution. So I say portfolio mapping, and they say, okay, the current is this one. but I want to have it a new assignment, and I say, so it is currently assigned to Frank, but I see that is a current. It is a level of client. I want the level to be client. I don't want to assign it to a group or to a model. I want it to be a client, and the value will be Mr. John Smith, and that's it. I save, and that's done. And I can do the same with this one here, portfolio mapping. I will say I want to assign to a new client, and I will say this one is Maggie. They give me Maggie Johnson. I save, I close. And if you look here, you see John Smith, Maggie Johnson. If I go here in clients, I see my clients. If I click on John Smith, I see my portfolio. If I go on to Maggie, I see my portfolio. And if I go in groups and I click into Smith family, I will not see the customer, but I will see the two portfolios. And on the right here, I see the name of my group. So it's a very powerful way to manage, because right now I have 3 or 4. That's nothing. Even by heart, I can do it. But if you have like 50 or 100 customers, you have 200 portfolios, and in the different portfolios, you have one here, just to show you in the portfolio, you can see the status. It can be proposed or actual or stuff like that. It's very interesting. And you even have the market value of those portfolios. So it can be very, very interesting. Okay. So now let's say we would like to create a new portfolio. So now we have 2 customers, we have 1 group, we have changed and renamed, no problem. And now we would like to create a new portfolio. There is many ways, but when we are here, why not? So I choose create new portfolio, click on that. We don't really use this here normally, so I'm just giving you a quick trick here. You just can take that down. It will give you more space. And on the left, never use that. So by doing that, again, you give yourself more space, easier to work. Again, the same type of screen we saw earlier. We can look at mutual fund by name, by fund code, or by fund family. But you remember the example. You remember we have a list here. So we will go into the example workstation. Of course, click that. We have, of course, our 6 fund, and of course, we want to add all those funds to the portfolio, because that is what is currently having, but our customer have right now. We go into allocate. So we have the funds. Now, by default, it gives us 10,000 everywhere. That's not what we want. We want in Canadian dollars, yes, but we want to allocate it. It can be by shares. By the way, I was wondering at the beginning why, but if you really, really want to be precise, the number of shares the best, because you see, he has 525 shares of this particular fund, so it gives you a very, very accurate number. It can be by percentage, or it can be in Canadian dollars. So you can play with that, of course, but for now, you can play with that. Okay, you attribute a different amount at each and every fund. It's okay, and it can be for the calculation of the price and the number of share month end of most recent. But in our case, we're on March 1st, so it doesn't change anything. So that's all right for that part. And the idea is to give a broad picture. The idea is to give a picture, but it cannot be perfectly accurate, and you cannot be a substitute for the real thing, of course. Fees and expenses, of course, that the workstation can be used by people that are just fee based, and that they charge something more on the portfolio. So if you charge something, you can put that here. If you charge quarterly, if you can have here monthly, quarterly, semi-annually, or annually. In our case, we say no, we don't charge any fees. The attributes will help you in the long run because if you have 1, 3, or 4, that's nothing. But if you're working with a team and you have a lot of portfolio to manage, and you have proposition and stuff like that, it can very, very much help you. So the type of portfolio, So you can usually you can change the portfolio or account type, but in this case, they won't let me. So maybe there is a little bug in my system, or I don't know. Continue. It's not that important. The tracking method, you have floating and fixed. Why floating and fixed? You want to have floating if it is the real thing, and you just want to see where it's going, and you want to see the variation, and you will want to have it fixed if it is like a $50,000 investment, or 100,000, and it is like a model type of thing. You just want to put a round number. So if you want to showcase somebody an idea of a portfolio, you don't want it to be $52,354 because it doesn't make any sense. You will want to showcase a $50,000 or 150,000 because it is round number. So depending if you want to have floating or fixed, floating usually is for real. Fixed is for when you want to present a solution. Including totals, it means that you saw the group and you saw the clients. So if you have 1, 2, 3, 4 portfolio per customer, some of them may be real, but some of them may be ideas, maybe scenarios, maybe others. So there is an option where you can have a portfolio of portfolios, or a meta portfolio, if you will. So that is the part where it is very important, is that a real portfolio? Click yes. If it's not, if it's just an idea or a proposition, of course you click no, and it will not be counted into the total of the customer. And the status, of course, it is that an old portfolio? Is that an actual? Because if it was an old portfolio, let's say it was with a competitor, you did the job and then you have moved on, you can delete the portfolio, but you can just save it, so you have it in your bank, and someday you may look at it. Or it may be a solution that you had in the past with your customer, and then you change, and you want to have some type of tracking method to be sure that you have done something good for your customer. So it can be historical, it can be actual, and of course it can be proposed. So for this example, we'll just save that, and the option are, you can save it as a model. The model will be for anybody you will encounter after that. You can save it to a group. Let's say we can save it to the Smith family, but it will not make very much sense. Or you can save the portfolio to a client, and we'll save it to Mrs. Maggie Johnson, and we will say it is her RRSP. It is saved, and now we can close it, and then we can go and see Mrs. Maggie Johnson, and then we have example 2, and we have RSP. If we click on RSP, we see we don't see the whole portfolio, we see the different mutual fund, and because it was 10,000 in each, we see 10,000 in each, and the percentage is there, and that's it. So you have the basics. We will continue in the other video, but you have the basics for creating a group. And the reason why it can be, usually it will be a family. It will rarely be a business. It could be a business, but it will rarely be. It will be usually a family of 1, 2, 3, or 4. If you have a company, you can have, let's say, a company. You can have Mrs., Miss, Mr., and children. So you can have 3 or 4 or 5 clients under the umbrella of a group. You have your client, and then in each client you can have many portfolios, and from there you can see, and from that screen you can see the market value. You can see all the nature of all the things in your accounts. So you can even, if you would like, you could even sort your portfolio by ascending or descending value. In this case, it's always 100, so it's very easy. But if you have, let's say you have groups of clients. And by the way, when you are into clients view, you can change the database view the same way we did with the mutual funds. It's completely different, but you see here on the left everything that is available, and on the right you can see, okay, zip code, I will never enter that, email neither, and first last name, yes, salutation, no, group name, yes, gender, no, marital status. So you can take everything out that you don't want. So I just kept that. I save it, and then I close it. And then here I can go and I will just see the things that I want. I have not put the employer job title, but if I want to put those things here, just to give me a reminder, I can put that, and that will be it for that. And if I want to open or edit a customer, I can go here. I say, yeah, I would like to put there here the status. It's a client or it's a prospect. Activity, it is active, and I can say the employer name will be ABC company. Oops, sorry. Just that, and you see, and I see all those things here.